This was money from a Mary Kay Monopoly game.
Oh my God. No. First of all, there's a Mary Kay Monopoly game. What?
You can't say 5 because everyone would circle 5, so I just took it off the sheet.
You're not allowed to be neutral. Like, it's not even an option. 5 getting taken away is a flag, and it's red. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. We are diving back into some Mary Kay today. We've got a familiar leader that we're going to be reacting to today, and she is telling us how we're going to share the Mary Kay opportunity. This should be interesting. We're going to get right the fuck into it.
Hey guys, welcome to week 2 of the Supercharger Squad Challenge.
That's the name.
I'm excited to do this week 2 training with you. First off though, I want to know who did the challenge from last week. And you had 2 things to do. One was to create your list of qualities. And we talked about, first off, if you didn't watch the playback from last week, I'd highly recommend doing that because we talked about kind of how to get here with this. But making sure you printed it out, and many of you put it in our Facebook group. So that's awesome. It was so fun to read all of yours.
I didn't see the previous one, but apparently we're building team qualities. These are the qualities that they want on their team. I'm sure that was interesting. I'm so sad we missed it.
I mean, so many of them are adjacent, meaning like similar to each other, but not quite the same. And then the second thing is having 2 people complete the career survey, which I can see. So if you did that, go ahead and drop it in the comments so that Bree can celebrate you. Super excited about that. I also want to show you guys, just as a reminder, with this challenge, like what we have coming up. So we have this week, tonight, I'm going to go over with you how to share, like just some of the things. And then in 2 weeks, okay, so next week we're going to talk about Super Bowl pool sales, but in 2 weeks we're going to talk about how to layer people. Oh my God, what? Like how to, it's not just layering, but like how to start the process even before you meet someone of giving them a little bit of information. So that will be in 2 weeks, sorry. And then don't forget too that we have fabulous prizes that you can earn. So for the points, now you are in charge of keeping track of your own points. But it would be helpful maybe in your date book to
oh wow, you're in charge of being an adult and tracking your own shit.
Just say, okay, I was on this meeting, I wasn't on this meeting. Anytime you are sharing and doing what's in my bag at your appointment, make sure you put that in your date book too. And I think that might be a really easy way for you to kind of keep track of your points and stuff like that. So and of course you'll have another challenge this week. Just stay tuned. All right, so this week we're going to talk about how to team build, like the actual, just like how to do it. And one thing that I have found in conversations with people is that a lot of people think that they're sharing at an appointment, or they'll say, oh yeah, I'll ask people like, oh, did you share the opportunity? Oh yeah, I shared. Okay, so one day I asked someone what they meant, like, what do you mean when you say you shared? And they said, oh, I'm just like talking about it here and there and weaving it in, and I'm talking about it. Okay, so here's the first important point that I want you to really just kind of differentiate in your mind. You need to have separation, okay? Meaning you're flat up telling them, okay, now we're going to learn about Mary Kay. This is one of my favorite parts. Because if you're just kind of like weaving it in, they're not getting what you're throwing down at all. Like you think you're sharing, but they're just like, oh, she's excited about what she's doing. She's not actually sharing this because this is something that would benefit me. She's just sharing about it because she loves it. Do you see the difference? There has got to be that separation, so that they know, oh, okay, I need to be in the mindset.
I mean, what the f does that mean,
Because when they're in that mindset, then they're like,
what does that even mean? Just be in the mindset. Do all the things and lock arms.
okay, she's talking to me. This isn't just like her talking about herself. She's actually talking to me. So making sure we have that separation. And I literally will say, at the beginning of my party, oh, you'll get to learn a little bit about Mary Kay later. And then when it gets time to do that, I say, oh my gosh, this is my favorite part. I do this at every appointment. And I always say it like that. I do this at every appointment because I literally do this at every appointment, but I make it just part of the experience. Like it's just part of what I do is I do this at every appointment.
Say it one more time.
If you didn't get that, she does this at every appointment.
I must have missed that bit.
So that's kind of how we do that. I would say, we're going to do this super corny little thing called what's in my bag. So I'm going to show you in a little bit how to do what's in my bag. But the first thing that I will say is you want to tell some sort of, we call it a Mary Kay and I story at the beginning of the appointment. And I have a whole document on how to create that, but it's really just like speaking your Mary Kay truth in 1 to 3 minutes.
I just reacted to a Scentsy video where they talked about storytelling and telling your story, your why. That's all it is. One of the things that I used to hear when I was in the MLMs, I don't know if they say it as much anymore. That was something that was very specific in LuLaRoe. I remember it being drilled into our heads.
Your why should make you cry.
Sounds like a nightmare.
And the reason they want you to do that is essentially, in my opinion, because nobody in these MLMs who are 1099 contracted sales employees have experience in sales or marketing. So the only marketing tactic that they know is to play on emotion. So they will tell you a sob story that somehow was fixed from Mary Kay, from Scentsy, from LuLaRoe, from Monat, from any MLM that they're in, and they'll adjust it to the MLM to fit that MLM, but it's essentially the same story over and over again just to get people into the MLM, allegedly, and in my opinion. Sorry, that was so long-winded.
At the beginning of the appointment. Notice how I said 1 to 3 minutes, not 30 minutes. Okay, those of you who like to talk a lot and don't realize how much time you're taking up, nobody wants to hear you go on and on and on forever.
Nobody wants to hear it at all.
So it's 1 to 3 minutes at the beginning of the appointment. And quite frankly, people love this because if you've ever done a party and before you are even set up, they're like, so how long have you been doing this? Why did you get into this? Like, people always ask. And so it's really just you sharing with them how you got into it. But instead of like talking about yourself, you're positioning it so that they can see themselves in the company too. And then at the end of the I story, I just say that now there's a nuance here. We used to say, watch me tonight and see if you could ever see yourself doing what I do. The reason I don't say that is because doing what I do, what does that even mean? Watch me tonight and see if you could ever see yourself doing what I do. People don't know what we do. So instead, I've been wording it, watch me tonight and see if there's any aspects of a Mary Kay business that could add value in your situation right now. So that's a different way of wording it instead of like, do what I do. No. This is about the Mary Kay opportunity. This isn't about how I do things. So one thing I want to point out, I'm going to show this to you. So on our team website, I have all the things that I'm going to talk about today are on that website. But if you just go to this, everything you need for a party and how to document, this is like, back in the day, they had like Microsoft Word for dummies. This is like Mary Kay parties for dummies. Not that you're a dummy.
Thank you for the clarification.
It's just like every single thing you would ever want to know. So I have an outline of the party, the opening, what to talk about. This is that document on how to formulate your I story.
You have to formulate it to make it emotional enough to hit people in the right spot. That is a red flag.
Okay, so you can work on that if you haven't done that before. And then a lot of the things we're going to talk about with what's in my bag and the marketing and things like that are in that document. So if you've not printed out that document, you don't possess that document, that would be a really good thing to start with. So yeah, and then always end it with watch me tonight. So this is the beginning of the party. Just watch me tonight and see if there's any aspects of a Mary Kay business that would add value to your situation. Now, what I do, how I word that in is I have them all go around and say your name, what you do for work, and then something you're excited to learn tonight about skincare or makeup. And then when it gets to me, I just say, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit and just tell you really quick about how we got here. And then I go into my story, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to teach you, okay, so I'm going to go into how to make like a what's in my bag and how to share the Mary Kay opportunity. And I know some of you already know how to do this, but here's what I want you to know before I go into this. Sharing facts is necessary. Okay, sharing the facts. That's what the what's in my bag does. It shares the facts. It is necessary, but it isn't what makes people join your team. Okay, it is part of the process that is necessary for people to join your team, but it is not how they join their team. Again, we talked about this last week. So again, if you haven't watched that playback, they say yes because of what they believe is possible when they are around you. So you need to weave in your stories, your experiences, your belief in the company. And just some of that comes from excitement. Do you go to your parties and you're like excited about what you're doing? Because if you're not, literally no one's going to join your team. I mean, I'm just going to tell you straight up, people join my team because I'm excited about what I'm doing.
I'm just confused about the whole party situation. Maybe I'm just so far removed from the MLM world that I don't know what I'm talking about. But are people still wanting to have these parties? It feels like they're phased out. I can't imagine wanting to go to a friend's house to sit and be given a presentation about makeup or candles or anything aside from her drama from the week. I don't want to sit there and be sold to.
I would rather gouge out my eyeballs with hot spoons.
I want to sit there and gossip. I want to sit there and play a game. Who is doing this anymore?
And that's how like sometimes new consultants who don't know anything, get to red jacket right away and get 3 active is because they're just excited. Like, people want to hear that you are going somewhere in your business and that you're excited about what you're doing. So it's part of the process, but it's not why people join your team. Okay, so I just want to make that clear, because sometimes I think like, oh, I shared the facts and no one joined. Well, there's a huge bridge between the facts and them joining that you have to have like human connection and conversation about, right? So, but when we do share the facts, the easiest thing to remember is that it makes an acronym called Mrs. CAB. So MRSCAB. And each letter stands for one of the 6 facts. So M is money, R is recognition, S is self-growth, C is cars, A is advancement and advantages, and then B is be your own boss. So you take each one of these things and you don't just give facts, but you weave in experiences and stories that are relevant to you. One of the things, I watched a video about marketing trends in 2026, and one of the big marketing trends this year, like you're not even going to believe this, it's so awesome. Storytelling is big. Now, when we get involved in storytelling, again, some of you like to tell 30-minute long stories. This is like a 30-second story. So
I feel like storytelling is always going to be big in marketing. And that is why these people think that they know what they're doing, because storytelling is a part of marketing, but it's just that a part of marketing. They don't know what else they're doing from there. So they're constantly storytelling. So of course she's excited hearing that this is finally a trend.
Again, and the story should be, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but like the story should be more about like something that she could visualize herself being in that story. One of the things that's really powerful is using the word imagine. Okay, so when you're talking about the facts, even just imagine for a second what it could be like if you just imagine for a moment. One of the things I've always said is like, just imagine what it would be like if you never had a car payment again. You know, just like,
yeah, that's hypothetical. That's not something that is likely to happen for most people who join an MLM like Mary Kay.
And that's a fact.
So you can imagine all you want if you have a good imagination. How often do you talk about the percentage of success in getting to a Mary Kay car? How often do you give them those numbers instead of just telling them to close their eyes and imagine?
because when you use the word imagine, it invites people in to, imagine themselves in the story instead of they're just looking at you performing. It's kind of like when you go to church and, like there's times at my church where the singers are singing to me. And then there's times where we're all supposed to sing together. This is a we all want to sing together situation and not them watching you sing. Okay, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what's in my bag is the way that I share the Mrs. Cab, the facts. It's not the only way. There's other things, like I used to play this purse game. I used to do other things. This one I find is the least distracting and the least, I don't know, like the purse game gets people too like worked up. So I stopped playing that years ago. And so I've done what's in my bag for years and years. So I find that it keeps people engaged too. Like you could honestly just go through like the Mrs. Cab, but this is like a little bit fun and it gives them something to do. So here's how I play the game, and I play it in 2 different ways.
You have to keep them engaged and keep them entertained. It sounds like such a fun girls' night. I can't wait. Where do I sign up?
She being sarcastic.
When I go and hang out with my friends, there's nobody trying to keep us engaged and keep us entertained. We're doing that together. We're enjoying each other's company. So the thought of people putting on these parties and having to force that kind of fun and engagement just sounds dreadful.
This might be a good nuance for some of my seasoned people. If there's 6 people or less, I play it a little different than if there's 6 people or more, because there are 6 facts. And so if there's more than 6, then they're like, oh, not everyone's going to get something. So first off, and I'm just going to tell you up front that one of your assignments for this week is to create your what's in my bag. Okay, so don't get hung up on like, I don't have a Mary Kay makeup bag. It doesn't have to be a Mary Kay makeup bag. It could even be one of your mesh bags from your party supplies. You probably have some makeup bags sitting around. But inside, there are little toys and things that represent each of the different facts, right? So like M for money. So this was money from a Mary Kay Monopoly game. You could just use play money. You could print out a piece of money. You could put an actual dollar bill in there. Like,
oh my God. No. First of all, there's a Mary Kay Monopoly game. What? And second of all, Mary Kay Ash is the person on the Monopoly money? I can't. Oh, I just spilled coffee all over me.
You can't take me anywhere, right?
It's fine though. Nobody can see my legs.
You don't have to have the exact items I do, just something that represents it. Recognition, I have one of these little chairs if you've ever done court of sales, and they never know it's a ring box. I always show them.
Oh no. The ring box for the Mary Kay jewels.
Oh, this ring's too big to fit in there. What a Mary Kay person problem. Okay, so this one's recognition. Self-growth is a mirror because confidence and personal growth. And then cars, I have a little McDonald's car in here. A is advancement and advantages. I stole this Lego ladder from my kids. So
Wow, real nice. You're stealing Legos now from your children for your Mary Kay business.
More is advancement, but then I go into the advantages. And then this one I stole from my cat.
Ah, poor cat.
I used to have a rubber band, but people would sit and do this to the rubber band and it would break like every 10 parties I would hold. I'd have to stick a new rubber band in there, which isn't like that big of a deal, but there's a little cat toy that I put in there and they think it's fun and they play with it and they don't know what it means. So they love that. So
the people at my party love this. They don't know what it means, but they play with it and they love it. What are we doing?
So here's how I do this. Okay. If it's less than 6 people, I say, okay, first off, this is how I set it up either way. I say, okay, we're to one of my favorite parts of my appointment. And I do this at every appointment. I like to share a little bit about Mary Kay with you. And we're gonna do this super corny thing called what's in my bag. Okay, and I actually do this and make it corny. And so I'm gonna have each one of you, okay, there's some stuff like toys and fun things in this bag.
I would be so embarrassed the whole time. Secondhand embarrassment would take over for me if I was forced in a room with this woman during a party. You know that feeling, like your skin just starts to feel funny when you're embarrassed for somebody else.
You can look in it. If you don't tell them, they think it has to be secret. You can look in it and pick one item that interests you and then pass it to your friend. So they'll, she'll pass it to Katie, and Katie, they always pick the chair, which is the hard one because they can never figure it out. And then the next one takes the ladder out and they're like, what does this mean? Okay, so you go around. This is if you have 6 or less. Let's say you have 4 and you get the bag back and the mirror and the ladder are left. You're going to take the mirror and the ladder, okay, and play with them. And okay, so once they have their item, I say, okay, we're going to go around. Each one of my super cheesy items represents a benefit of being a Mary Kay consultant. So you're going to say what your item is and try to guess the benefit. Okay, so, and I always say, some of them are more obvious than others. So whoever has the car and the money, I'm like, okay, who has the car and the money? Do you guys want to go first? What could it mean? I make it kind of fun and corny because it is. So she'll go with the car. So you go through each one, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to think of 1 to 2 things to share at each. Okay, it could be the fact. You want to share the fact, but then you want to share a personal story and experience or story of someone that is brief. Don't just talk about yourself.
Do you think anyone has ever blatantly gotten up from one of these games and was like, yeah, I'm not partaking in this bullshit?
This party blows, so we're gonna leave.
I would love to do that. There has to have been a time in history where there was a real awkward party where the people were just arguing about how their friend dragged them to an MLM party. If you have a story like that, I want to hear it. Tell me in the comments. Did somebody get up from one of these games and flip the Monopoly board?
Again, share experiences that she could see herself in using the word imagine. Now, again, if you're like, well, I don't even know what to say. Well, guess what? I have it all written up for you in a document like I always do. So here are some things that you can say at your party about each one. You don't have to say each one, but you can literally just read it off this paper if that's how you want to do it. Okay, so that is available to you. And again, that's in that document, the Full Circle Party Guide on my website. Okay. Now, if it's more than 6 people, let's say you have a group of 10, you could play it the same way and just 4 people feel left out. So what I do when there's a bigger group.
Believe me, baby, they don't feel left out. It's a privilege to not have to participate.
Is I will keep all the items secret like this. And I'll say, okay, we're going to same thing. We're going to the favorite part of my party. I get to share a little bit about Mary Kay with each and every one of you. I do this at every appointment, and we're going to do this corny thing called what's in my bag. So I have some items in this bag, and I'm going to pull an item out. And the first person who gets it is going to get Mary Kay street cred. Or if you want to give them a sample, if you have lipstick samples or something, you could throw them a lipstick sample if they guess it right. Just something little. You don't have to do gifts. And I said, okay, so it's going to go really fast. So each one of the items that I'm going to hold up represents a benefit of Mary Kay consultant. So I'm going to pull up an item, and the first person who gets it gets a lipstick sample. Okay, so it's going to go really fast, especially with this first one. Are you ready? Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. And I'm like,
It's giving preschool teacher, not even kindergarten. We haven't even entered primary school yet. We are in pre-K. I just don't want to be talked to like this when I'm hanging out with my adult friends, ever.
And they're like, money, you know, like whoever got it. Okay. And so then, okay, then you give your 1 to 2 things about the money. And then, okay, we're going to do the next one. I don't know. This one's a little bit harder. We'll see how you guys do. You know, and then they're like fighting about it and whatever. So that's why I do it if it's more than 6 people, just to make it fun for everybody. Okay. How to talk about, let's talk, because in the spirit of sharing 1 to 3 things about it, let's talk about how to talk about, Kendra asked this last week. Let's talk about how to talk about the 30% thing. So obviously this is evolving. I'm just as good at it, so to speak, as you would be, because it just dropped December 17th and I've been playing around with different things. But one of the things that I've found successful so far is just to talk about that, like my excitement for how Mary Kay has changed. So like, for example, so I simply say you can make up to a 50% profit selling the product. So we buy it for $1, sell it for $2. You guys, here's what's so great. Okay, here's me. This is actually me at a party. You guys, here's what's so great. Okay, it used to be that you had to place a bulk order to profit. Now, okay, and I like to bring a little drama.
You ought to be in drama class.
Mary Kay just changed this, like literally just changed this. And it is making it so easy for people to start a Mary Kay business and profit right away. And you can drop ship things immediately and you make 30%. And once you accumulate enough orders, then you make 50%.
Yeah, this sounds confusing. This all changed almost immediately after I did my Mary Kay deep dive not that long ago. So it appears that we have to dive back in because they changed the entire compensation plan from what I understand and from what I hear from the inside. So my apologies for dropping that right before they decided to upend things.
Okay, and I always say, and I find most people hit 50% right away because they also need products for themselves, or they maybe want to have a little bit of inventory on hand. So isn't that awesome? So it's more about like, you know, going into the nitty-gritty details of the 30 and 50. It's more about like, oh my gosh, you guys, Mary Kay just changed this and it is so exciting. Okay, there's your belief coming out. This is exciting. It's making it easier because, girlfriends, it is true. It is making it exciting and easier. So that's how I've been talking about it. You can make up to a 50% profit now. But it used to be you had to place this like bulk order, but you don't have to do that anymore. It's so much easier. So that's how you're going to talk about the 30% thing. And obviously stay tuned, you know, as we have workshopped this and done it a million times, and I do have stuff in that document written up about the 30% thing. You could, it's an exciting change for Mary Kay. This is what I wrote in the document. Start making 30% on day 1 with no minimums, but then work up to 50% with $450 in sales. I find most people do that right away as they need products for themselves. Okay. So once you've played once in my bag, then the next step would be to have them do an interest scale on the profile card. And again, this is in that document. My profile cards are on the website. I did update some of the fonting and different things, but there's a 1 to 10 scale. And this is how I like to be funny during the 1 to 10 scale. I say, okay, oh, after I do what's in my bag, you guys do not forget to share with them how to start. Okay, so I have, and this is in that document too, the starter kit flyer, right? So I say, you know, this info may not be for you, and that's okay. We need really great customers too. But if you're thinking this would add some value to your situation and you're wondering what it takes to start Mary Kay, it's $35 to start. If you just want basic supplies and you just want a website and whatnot. But you also have an option to do this like $90 add-on. And I always make sure to show it to them, like this $90 add-on where you get tons of full-size product. And so if you like everything I use today, and the trays and the bag, and you want more supplies, would highly recommend that. It's a really good deal. I don't get any sort of kickback for you picking one over the other, but
she does get kickback for you picking. It's always in the wording. Even when you're speaking, there's fine print.
If you can swing it, I would do the Pro Start. So on your little profile card, your hot pink sheet that we did today, there's a scale 1 to 10. 1 means, and if it's a bride, I always say like 1 means I would rather eat hot dogs off the floor at Katie's wedding than ever be a Mary Kay consultant. And then I say, I'm just kidding. It just means like it was fun learning about it. It's so not for me ever. That's a 1. All you Midwestern types looking for the 5 and stressing out right now because there is no 5 on my form. Ha ha ha. It's always a joke. They always laugh. They're like, I was wondering where the 5 was. You can't say 5 because everyone would circle 5. So I just took it off the sheet.
You're not allowed to be neutral. Like, it's not even an option at this Mary Kay party. No neutral.
I don't know how I feel about that.
5 getting taken away is a flag, and it's red.
And then 10 means you love what you heard. It's $35 to start. You want to give it a try and see where it takes you. Like, that's a 10. And if you're a 10, I just text you this really easy link. And you just click the link and it takes you to the website to fill out the kit. And I'm here tonight, so if you choose to do that, I can help you with that. In case there's, some pieces in that, sign up process that you struggle with, because there is one part where they have to scroll the terms and conditions, and if they can't figure that out, it's hard to get past it. So yeah, I just sent you the link and you can do that. So go ahead and you have to say this, go ahead and circle your number, because even though you just said, okay, there's a scale 1 to 10, 1 means this, 5 means this, 10 means this, sometimes they sit there and they're like, what do I do? Okay, go ahead and circle your number. Okay, and then, I finish out the party. Okay, so you did it. You shared at a party. Now, okay, now's where it gets fun. This is my favorite part. Okay, that's easy. That was sharing facts. Everyone on here can do that. Anyone on here could print off that sheet, share the facts. You could just read off the sheet or highlight a couple things, whatever. I want to talk about what you do at the end of the party.
You run away.
Okay, so at the end, when you meet with people individually, that's when it gets juicy fun, because you're going to talk to each person. This is the other shift I want you to make. I want you to talk to each person about their interest scale in the individual consultation, even if they're a 1.
Oh my God. I would be pissed at my friend if they made me come to this. I don't want to be interviewed by a Mary Kay consultant or any kind of consultant ever about my interest in starting a business. Please, God, no. I don't think I hang out with the people that do this, and thank God for that.
I want you to say the words, Katie, I see you were a 1. Tell me about that. Are you cutting off your toes? Are you eating hot dogs off the floor? We obviously make it funny for them. And she'll go, oh no, it's just like so not for me, whatever. But yeah, okay. So, and then in the individual close, you're gonna ask her about this. Like I said, you're gonna ask sorry, I was bringing up a document. You're gonna ask each person about their interest scale. So here's how I do that, and this is all written out for you. Just like what I said, I see you were a 4, A3, A7, and 8, whatever their number was. I see you were a 4. Tell me about that. That's all you have to say. Just tell me about that. I think you could all handle that. You were a 4. Tell me about that. And she will tell you what compelled her to say 4 or to say 7 or to say 8. And this is where you need to listen and not be thinking of the next thing you're going to say, but just listen to her and see what she's excited about. Now, last week I hinted at a 3-part framework. And so I'm just going to give it to you because it's really simple. Okay, so step 1 is see the person. Step 2 is speak to their real desire. We're going to spend a little bit of time here in a minute on the real desire. And then step 3 is invite them in and open the door, right? So step 1 is see the person. So you just said, Katie, you were a 7. Tell me about that. She gives you her reasons for and for not doing it, and or why she put 7. And this is where you see her. Okay, notice something about her.
My God, what is happening?
I don't know.
This show is yours.
Maybe it's that, I gotta tell you, Katie, like, I was really excited you put 7 because, like, just in working with you on this party, like, one of the things that I look for in people to be good at this is that they're kind of like on top of stuff, and like just in coordinating with you with this party, like, girl, you were on it. And I love that about you. Okay, so you got to notice her. What is the thing about her? And then speak with her on how you believe the business opportunity could benefit her. This is where you got to stop talking about how it's benefited you, and you need to speak the belief into her of how you believe it would benefit her. Okay, so notice her. So what is the thing you're going to notice about her? Like, girl, I noticed during the party, like, let's say you'd never, she wasn't the host. You were just like so good at like, making sure your friends were caught up, or I could tell you're a really caring person because, I don't know, you just like got a towel out when everyone was doing their satin hands. And that's one of the things I look for in people, because again, right, don't lie about it. It's one of the things I was looking for in people, right? This is why we make this list. So affirm her. If you don't know how to affirm someone, pick something on your list. This is why I had you make this, that you could affirm about her. And that's what you affirm her with. So I love that. So that's an idea for you. And then, okay, so we're going to talk about like a little more on how to like speak with her, speak to her real desire, which is basically just you speaking with her about how you believe the business opportunity could benefit her. And then the step 3 is just like open the door. Okay, which means like you actually need to ask them if they want to do it or not. And honestly, I just ask them, hey, so Katie, are you thinking that you'd like to get started tonight?
No.
Like, I make it like a question. Like, are you thinking you'd like to start tonight?
No.
And then I don't say anything until she says something, right? So are you thinking that you'd like to start tonight?
No, stop asking.
And typically what happens, if she might hesitate for a minute and then she'll be like, yeah, I do. And then you just text her the link and it's no big deal. Some of you make such a big deal like, oh my gosh, you want to start tonight? Like, what? No, again, we are normalizing at every appointment. There's at least one or more minimum beauty consultants with this new system and new things. It's so much easier, right? So if she says yes, then you text her the link. And
So it sounds like they don't need inventory anymore, which welcome to the 2000s at that point.
I always say this. I say, you know what, Katie, it's fine if you don't, if you'd like to do it right now, you can take your phone and kind of do it, while I'm meeting with everyone else. And the only reason I say that is because there's this one part where you have to kind of like scroll the terms and conditions, and sometimes people get stuck on it. And since I'm here, if you get stuck on it, I just want to make sure that I'm here to help you. And she's like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll go fill it out right now. Okay. So then, she's over on her phone filling it out while you're meeting with other guests at the party. And then, okay, the other thing she might say is, oh, I don't think I'm ready today. Or she kind of like gets like, oh no, not today, not yet. And then, okay, so again, you're kind of opening the door. Would it benefit you, right? Just a soft, not salesy, would it benefit you to just learn more about it? And I say this to anyone, like, would it benefit you to just learn more about it? And if she says yes, and we talked about this at our fall retreat, I present 3 options of how that works. So she said, yes, I want to learn more. I say, great, I have 3 ways that I give people more information. Katie, whatever is best for you is totally fine for me. Again, I'm giving her complete control over this process, which I do think is an important piece. So I will say, okay, so Katie, did you do that little survey that I had ahead of time where you got the free earrings? And she'll either say, I don't think so, or I saw it and then I never completed it, or she'll say, yep, I did it. And I always try to look that up kind of ahead of time, but sometimes I forget too. And I'll say, okay, well, and reiterate what it is, even if she says she did it. It's just a Google form that I made, and it's got like some videos, some of the info I talked about today, and so on and so forth. And, you get free earrings just for filling it out. The second option is every Tuesday at 7 and Sunday at 4, we do a 30-minute event called Peek into Pink. Here's what's great about it, Katie. It is webinar format. You do not have to be on camera, and people are blowing up the comments, chatting with each other. You can ask questions, but it's just like super easy to do. And just for hopping on, you get a free product of the month. And this month, the product is, like right now, we're doing one of the eyeshadow sticks if they hop on. But
this all just sounds like a chore list. It sounds like an absolute chore to encounter this woman.
Every month it's different, right? Or we could get together for coffee or lunch or whatever works for you. And all I would do during that appointment is answer any questions you have and just see if Mary Kay is a fit for you or not. That's what I say. That's my magic words. Like, all I would do is answer any questions you have and see if it's a fit for you or not. Katie, what would be best for you? And she might say, usually they say Peek into Pink. And I say, okay, you know what? I'm also going to send you that link again, just in case you kind of want to creep on the info before Peek into Pink. Or if she says, oh yeah, let's do coffee. That sounds fun. I love like coffee.
I love like coffee.
Great. Like, in the meantime, we do have a Peek into Pink this Tuesday. I'm going to register you just in case, you want to creep on it before we meet for coffee, or it might bring up some more questions. So I suggest what she could do in the meantime. I never just give people something and wait for it to happen. I give them something in the meantime because we want to maintain that excitement, because people recruit closest to the product. And so it's important to keep them excited about it. The other thing that I forgot to mention earlier too is make sure you're using visuals, right, at your party. So I have the car flyer.
Oh my God, the cars. No, not the cars.
That I show people. And then on the other side is like the current rings and then, trips.
Those are horrific, you guys. I'm sorry if you think they're pretty. I just think they look so cheap. The rings, they're just not cute. They look like costume jewelry that would turn your skin green.
My God, you're turning green.
And different pictures of me and Mary Kay. You can use mine or you can use whatever. It's in that document. But I did forget to mention that. But yeah, it just made me think of it when we were thinking about excitement. So give her the 3 options and say, what would be best for you? And sometimes too, I'll use my voice a little bit if I really want to meet her for coffee. I'll say like, this is a career survey. We have this thing called Peek into Pink. Or we could do, okay, I'm overemphasizing, but I make my voice a little bit more excited about the coffee piece. because I really want to meet with her. And, you know, maybe it's just like a good time in your schedule to meet with someone. So there you go, you guys. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And I know it sounds really easy. It is. You just got to do it. Like sometimes we overthink it. I want to talk just really quickly about speaking to their real desire. Okay. And what this means, because this is in that step 2 where you're having that conversation about how you believe the business could benefit her. This is background knowledge for you to master this. Because if you can master how you believe the business opportunity could benefit her, again, people join your team and say yes because of what they believe is possible when they're around you.
So many words, just spit it out.
Here's what I've learned. Most people think that people join for 3 reasons. People like us, we think that people join our teams for money, for time, and for purpose. Okay, that is not why people join our team. They actually joined, and I learned this through a class I took, they joined for emotional security, emotional freedom, and emotional identity. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what these 3 mean. So emotional security relates to, so when you're at a party and people say, I need money, right? Or I could use money. People don't want money. They want what they hope money will represent for them. They want to stop waking up stressed and scared. So this is where the emotional security comes in. They don't want money. They want emotional security. They want to stop waking up stressed and scared. And then under each one of these, there's one thing that our business can do for them. So like, for example, our Mary Kay business could potentially be the first place that she feels a small sense of control in this area. So our Mary Kay business could be a small sense of control in this area for her. When you lead with, I've always repelled leading with money, like leading with like, oh, you can make all this money and you can make money and money, 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 money. Money speaks to the smallest part of someone. Okay. Have you ever thought about that? The smallest part of someone, the part that is nervous, stressed, and scared versus their identity, their purpose, and their growth. It's almost like they don't need money, they need a calling, or they need purpose. They need something to glam onto. Money attracts dependency, not leadership.
Oh, now we have money therapy.
It attracts people who need saving versus people who need to grow, right? So again, our business isn't just about money. It's about what that money could represent for them, which is a place that they could finally have a small sense of control in their life, right? And their finances, because you can make extra money with Mary Kay, right? The second one is emotional freedom. And this is the real meaning behind flexibility and freedom, is emotional freedom, meaning they want presence and control of their life. People want to, I say this all the time, are you living the life you intentionally designed, or are you just living it, right? They want to be a better mom, they want to be a better human. Like that's what flexibility really means, because being able to be home more, do the things with their kids is going to help them with that. Does that make sense? So it's not just flexibility.
I hate when they play on the mom guilt. In almost every case, a multi-level marketing company will not give you the freedom to be at home or available to your kids more than you already are. It will likely take you away from your kids more than you already are. Speaking from experience.
Learn from my mistakes, okay?
So here's the statement. Our Mary Kay business could be the first place that they can reclaim their days versus being dominated by them. Okay, so our Mary Kay business could be the first place they could reclaim their days versus being dominated by them. And then the third one is emotional identity. Okay, so this is, a lot of people use the word like, oh, I need purpose, but purpose is a socially acceptable word when you can't name, like when people can't name what's inside of them, they use the word purpose, right? So people think they want meaning, but what they really want is they want a place where they matter and where they like themselves again. Oh my gosh. Like, isn't that the slogan of our business? Like,
it shouldn't be. You're a makeup and skincare company. If you encounter a business opportunity, quote unquote, that is leading with the community, know that that is a huge red flag. It might be a cult.
I brought you to a cult.
A place where women can like themselves again. Oh, like, you know, we get so like consumed with our families and kids and just things going on. And sometimes it's like, who is this person? Right? So our business does that. So my business is the first place that they've been invited to do this, right?
No, your business is doing the opposite. Your business is owned and overseen by a man, and he calls the shots. You never started a business. This is Mary Kay. You can do more as a woman.
Where they can kind of reclaim that and like find their significance and find, you know, the place where they matter and they like themselves again. So our business does that. So, you know, I said it last week, like we're looking for women who want to be a different version of themselves, who want to be more, you know, they have some, but they are hungry for more. So
Mary Kay isn't going to give you more. It's going to box you in even more. You can do more on your own without the multi-level marketing company calling the shots and taking your money.
Okay, so for the challenge for next week, and I'll end with this, is, okay, so you have to make your what's in my bag, and then you got to practice it, girl. So you're going to practice it 3 times. You're going to go through the full thing where you're saying 1 to 3 things about each thing. You're adding in your personal flair, your stories, that kind of thing. And then again, we're going to do this every week. Have 2 more people complete the career survey. So if you haven't been holding parties, you're going to have to, you know, call in some favors there. But again, it's getting you in the rhythm of like career surveys should always be coming in because you're always talking to people, you're always asking people, you're always booking people. And we're going to talk more about that in the next session, which is like how to have people do it before the party, after the party, that kind of thing, so that you feel empowered to do that. So, can't wait to see you guys next week. Enjoy the challenge.
Lord have mercy. Women empowerment is not joining an MLM, just so you know. Any Hoosier, I'm gonna go and film an episode of Back Talk now that this gummy has kicked in. If you didn't know, my channel members get 1 extra video every month, and it's called Back Talk. At the time that this video is up, there are 2 episodes of Back Talk so far, so it is a newer series that I've started. If you want to go and see it, you can join the membership, but if that's not your thing, that's totally cool too. As always, thanks for hanging out with me while I talk a bunch of shit, and I will see you in the next one.